A dreadful day in the world of Magic the Gathering. The most recent MagicCon, MagicCon Chicago, was an absolute disaster. And even worse than that, stores and distributors are now panic selling Karlov Manor. This is really bad.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends! I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for a crazy installment of Mega Magic News. Things are bad out there right now. MagicCon went very poorly. I have a number of accounts that we're going to go over. And the panic selling situation is even worse. But before we dive in, I just want to let you know they're doing construction on my building. So you might hear a bunch of banging or in the background. I wanted to wait, but the news waits for no man. If it waited, it wouldn't be news, it would be olds. So let's talk about MagicCon Chicago. I have a whole list of issues that people had with it. It just happened over the past weekend, and there are a bunch of unhappy people, from regular attendees all the way up to the VIPs who are spending $800 or more just on a ticket to this event. Forget about the fact that people are getting airfare, hotels, all of this to come to these events, right? So Wizards of the Coast, I thought, had worked more of the kinks out of the system. The last MagicCon went over better than this one, but there is a laundry list of issues. So let's start out in no particular order of grievance. We have on-demand events. Now, if you know how on-demand events work normally in Magic, you go, hey, we're going to show up. We got enough people to have one of the events. Boom, let's play. Good, we're good to go. Well, in this case, you could actually buy your on-demand event tickets before the event even started. And so it turned out that all of the event tickets for on-demand stuff were already pre-sold rather than just you show up and you're good to play. And that is very irksome when you go, okay, so let me get this straight. I came to play on-demand events. Yes, okay. And there are no on-demand events that I can get into on demand here? No, we already sold all the tickets. So can I come back later today to play? No. You can come back tomorrow at 10 in the morning and try again. But the tickets are probably going to be sold as well, right? Like already. So you have clueless staff and knowledgeable staff. The knowledgeable staff are few and far between. There are not many people at this event who know what's going on, and the ones who do are incredibly frustrated, and it's understandable why when you go through the scenario that they're dealing with. So you've got frustrated people where most of the employees don't know what's going on, and they just go, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's going on. They give contradictory information. So you've got that going on. The merch situation was absolutely wild. You had to wait in line for hours and hours and hours. 3, 4, 5 hours in a merch line. Actually, somebody made a humorous comment talking about, for real, I actually had more fun waiting in the lines talking with people than the rest of the event because I didn't even really get to play Magic. So they just had more fun talking to Magic players, waiting for 4 hours in a merch line. And when it comes to the merch, you have a wide gulf of different experiences. The craziest one is there's this little pizza sticker that's just, hey, you came to MagicCon Chicago. Now, this thing sold out in the first 5 minutes of the event. So event starts at 10:05 first day. All the stickers are gone. And it's like, bro, it's just a sticker. They're selling them for like $3 a piece. And they could have sold 1 million of them. It's just indicative of the whole storm that was going to come. Because what happened is they oversold the event. They basically sold way too many tickets and badges and then went, well, this should hopefully work. And it turns out that the setup they had was more than insufficient. So you can end up waiting in a merch line for hours, get to the front and find out everything that you want was already pre-purchased by somebody else like hours ago at the beginning of the line. People come in and they're like, hey, can I get 15 of this playmat and 10 of these and that? And then they're just like, sure. And they just let you buy whatever. And then somebody else comes up, hey, can I get 6 of these? So at the very front, you have people who are loading up on these things. And the people at the back have no idea. They don't know that these people are literally walking over to their hotel rooms. Boom, time to post these pictures online. I came to resell merch. So much of the good, sweet merch was snagged so fast. So you have a scenario where they only start realizing later on down the road, hey, wait a minute. We should limit this to like, hey, can you prove that you have a badge, that you're actually a full-on attendee, and we're only going to limit you to 1? Like, instead of just anybody can wander up and we'll sell it to whoever, however many amount, because literally the scalp flipping was happening instantaneously. There is some high-level demand specifically for some of the playmats, like the Fallout playmats and things like that. The Nuka-Cola playmats are reselling for over $300. There's genuine money in this flippage. The one booth that seemed to have that actually kind of sorted out, they have these really cool Fibblethip deck boxes, right? And apparently you had to go up and you had to like pre-register with your badge information, and then you could order one that they didn't have them with them, so I guess they get sent afterwards, which admittedly is a bummer. You want it on the spot, right? Like, maybe that part isn't how it works, but either way, they specifically limited it to 1, so you didn't have the same situation. But there were a ton of complaints about that, right? So they oversold the event, leading to a bunch of people who are going straight up, I want a refund for this. Like, going to the event staff and going, this is completely unacceptable. Like, bro, they had a free play area. It's 8 tables. And we're not talking like your normal game store tables, the long rectangular ones. Picture like a gigantic circular table that you would see at, like, I don't know, a business awards luncheon or something. Something that's not meant for one person sitting over here and the other person at the other end to be able to play Magic like across from each other or anything like that. It's a Jigo table. So you've got 8 of those as the entire free play area, right? Well, you say to yourself, well, that's okay, because they also have the command zone, right? So if you've got a badge, which costs, if you want it for the weekend, just a regular badge, I'm not talking about buying into extra events, but just a badge that gives you the base level stuff, was 100 bones for the weekend. That's the deal price. I think it was like $40 a day or something. Included in that is the command zone. Commander is the biggest format in Magic, so of course you're going to have the command zone. People are going to love it. I'll pay just for access to the command zone. The command zone was absolutely crowded, right? There was so many people in it, but that got compounded when abruptly, it's at some point in the event, they decided that half of the command zone, now remember, everybody who's bought a badge has paid for access to this command zone area. Half of the command zone is now for playing Commander for $40 a person, $40 a game. So they went, half the command zone is now shut off, and we're going to be making $160 a pod, right? Like, it's sure, obviously you're going to have some level of price support. It's not like they just said, we're full on, hey, you know, if you want to play on this side of the command zone, you now have to pay $40. But they shrunk what people paid for by half. They ran around changing events on people all over. The people are talking about, like, okay, so I want to be in this event. When is it happening? Oh, it's not happening yet. Just keep checking back. Check back every half an hour until someone goes, oh yeah, that's been canceled. Completely different employee. No idea who actually knows what's going on. You can come back an hour later and the event's happening. Like, it's the most crazily mismanaged nonsense, to the point where Black Lotus VIPs, you know, the ones who pay access to like for the VIP lounge. Imagine if you went to a convention and you were like, I got the VIP pass. It means I get to go into the lounge now. And the employees of the convention were like, no, that's not how it works. And they're just like closing the door on you or whatever and telling you, no, go away, come back at 10. Like, dudes, like, bro, all this stuff, they paid for special treatment. Like, the one person specifically was saying, I am a regular Black Lotus pass holder. Like, this is what I get every time I go, kind of deal. And this was so bad that I am legitimately probably just going to discontinue and going to the events altogether. There are people who are so livid at the setup that they're like, yo, if these guys don't do a refund, I'm doing a full-on chargeback to my credit card because I booked a hotel. All of it came out for this garbage nonsense. That half the command zone being switched over is absolutely crazy. On top of that, because they couldn't keep up with the number of people, they're constantly switching where events are happening. Oh, it's happening over here now. They weren't able to keep on top of the water stations for people as well. So if you wanted any water, good luck. But you could always head over to the VIP lounge and hope maybe there's drinks there if they'll let you in. All you did was pay like $800 to come to the event. It's insane. You know how many people are coming to the event, right? Like, it's crazy. And actually, as a side note, MagicCon suffered from something that wasn't MagicCon related, and that is Wizards of the Coast discontinued Portuguese and Chinese Magic cards. If you didn't hear about that, I actually did a live stream going over it in more detail, so I'll leave that link up at the end of this video in case you want to check it out on the archive, because it's a wild situation. Wizards said, we're done making Portuguese cards, we're done making Chinese cards, also, we're stopping with Portuguese D&D products. So again, I talk about all that in the live stream, but it led to some hilarious scenarios. First of all, it led to some angry people. That part's not funny, right? People, especially in Brazil. You got a ton of people living there, and a bunch of them are riled up about D&D and Magic. Now, on the D&D side of things, they have to maintain open communication. They're not really shut down the comments, bottle up. But on the Magic side, that's absolutely what's happened. So you'll notice if you go to Magic's YouTube channel, there will be the comment section shut off on their recent videos. And it's all since that announcement about the Portuguese language, because people are freaking out, and the memes that they are memeing on Wizards with, at first I didn't really know what was going on. Once it was explained to me, I found it to be pretty hilarious. So again, that's covered in the live stream. That's adding on to the MagicCon problems where the event is already horribly managed, and then nobody can interact on the videos sharing their excitement because there's too many angry people who want to rant at Wizards about what they're currently doing. And I have to say, it's pretty funny from the outside to see it all come together, because Wizards, they're planting these seeds, bro. And watching them reap them, man, you get what you get, right? You get what you get. And speaking of getting what you get, let's talk about the insanity of the panic selling, because this is next level. We still have the grand exodus going on, and it's been over a year now that it's been happening. If you don't know what I mean by the grand exodus, Magic 30 created the grand exodus, where a ton of Magic players said, okay, I'm done. I'm selling all my old stuff. I'm proxying or I'm quitting the game. Like, Magic 30 really ticked a bunch of people off. They fled out of the game, and we've seen like a steady decrease. Reserve list stuff has just gone, it's like halved in the last while because of it. And that's just one of the effects, right? But either way, it got to the point where game stores were like, yo, we're shutting down our buy lists. Like, we're literally not buying any cards. Some of them were like, we're just stopping taking bulk, that's crazy to begin with. We're not taking bulk rares. But some just said, we're shutting down our buy list. Some of them said, we're switching to credit only, where we'll take in new cards, but we're not buying any new. We saw even some big stores say, you know what, I think we're just going to stop selling Magic altogether. So Magic 30 had that impact, right? And it's been this echo ever since, where it has been harder to move singles in the first place for stores and bigger online shops as well. Wizards has made 80 million different kinds of variants, and ultimately they've destroyed faith in their product. And that has led to the panic selling that's not specifically happening from the players. We have a normal, maybe slightly above normal level of panic selling from them. But in terms of stores, the panic selling is high. And in terms of distributors, the fact that they're panic selling at all is insane. Like, I have to hammer this point in because it's probably kind of buried deep in your mind if you don't think about it. But Karlov Manor, it's only been out for 2 weeks. I know, I'm thinking of Total Recall now. 2 weeks. Anyways, it's been 2 weeks, bro. If you count the pre-release as the actual release date, it's been 3 weeks since this set came out. Now, I know we've had a deluge of Fallout spoilers and then 4 other things as well. Like, we've had 5 different kinds of spoilers, at least in the last 2 weeks, on top of secret layers. And I guess as a quick note on that, if you were somebody who was trying to snag the Sheldon commemorative secret layer today and the website was down, it wasn't working, they've got that sorted out. The website is back up and running, right? So you've got like this scenario where the panic selling is it's reached distributors. We're 3 weeks in from the pre-release, 2 weeks in from the release, and distributors are coming in going, hey, we're having a big sale on Markov Manor, like significant chunk off. You want to take it off our hands? We're talking 20%, 30%. What are you looking to get here? I'm sure that if you contact the distributor, depending on the situation, you might even be able to negotiate a deal if you're willing to take enough of this absolutely garbage product. If you didn't hear earlier, distributors were already acting strange with this in terms of refusing restocks. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it means basically when somebody, not restock specifically, but return restocks, where a store goes, I don't want this product, I'm going to send it back to the distributor. And the distributor says, okay, but there's a 15% penalty where 15% of the money you spent on this will not be returned to you. And that's us restocking it. That's our fee. Now, that didn't happen with a lot of Magic sets, really. Commander Masters did it to a degree. Commander Masters was really Wizards starting to butt up against. Magic 30 was them finding the ultimate get out of here, nobody's even going to listen to your price. But Commander Masters was them butting up against, okay, we're hitting the price point that people aren't really willing to go for. And then Modern Horizons 3 exceeds that with the command. That's something I'm going to rant about tonight in a live stream, actually, is the Modern Horizons 3 Commander deck's existence, price point, and Rosewater's justification for why they can't make modern decks. It's absolute garbage rip-off insanity. But anyways, I don't want to get too off on an aside. My mind's reeling because so much is going on, and distributors panic selling is not something I'm accustomed to. Wizards of the Coast has not just eroded, they've destroyed distributors' confidence. Let me explain this to you. A year and a half ago, distributors would sit on things like Double Masters 2022. So let's say they're getting a shipment of, for example, 100,000 boxes. Now, these are made-up numbers, but let's say they get 100,000 boxes. They go, okay, you know what? We're going to sit on like 25,000 of these boxes. Slip them off to the side because these are bangers. And you know what? 3 months down the road, when it's not normally available anymore, we can put it back up for sale at an increased price. Distributors would do this regularly. They would refuse to sell the entire allotment they had of stuff so that knowing, yo, you're going to want some down the road, we'll sell it to you, we'll get more money. That's how it worked as what was like a year and a half ago was Double Masters 2022, right? Yeah, it was in like June, July. So about a year and a half ago, roughly, they would buy a bunch extra to sit on it. Now, they won't take the restocks, even at the 15% fee. They're like, no, we're not taking this product back. It's your problem. So now we have local game stores where you go in and they're selling their boxes for under their cost. Every box they sell you, the game store is losing money, but they have to panic sell it because they need the money to either pay for the Fallout decks, the Thunder Junction stuff that's coming. That's just Magic. Forget any other games. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Lorcana, which is doing quite well for game stores as far as I've seen. So overall, it's an absurd situation where Wizards is doing massive damage. The distributors are turning around and saying, we are only going to order as much as we think we can sell to people. And they're telling game stores, only order as much as you want. You know how in the past you could come to us for more? We're not doing that anymore. They're not stocking up. They're not holding it because Magic product has become poisonous to distributors. Like, this is next level. If you're not in tune with what goes on with Magic, the LGS and the distributors, it probably doesn't seem like as big a deal, but it's underlying, bro. It's like if you see a tree and you got the roots underneath and you can't see them, but they are rotten. They're being eaten by insects and they're moldy and rotten. That's what this is. And Thunder Junction is going to be more of the same. It was designed by the same people under the same conditions. They literally thought that the epilogue sets were going to be bangers. So Thunder Junction is going to do this as well. We are seeing some game stores just say, I'm done with Magic. Distributors are pulling back on their Magic purchases, and Wizards of the Coast still has profits they have to meet. All this means more and more price increases because this is the only avenue that's left to Wizards, right? They're not doing anything that's expanding their customer base in a meaningful way. They're doing one night stands with different properties that bring people in for a moment, but then they're gone. And so the lifespan of a Magic player used to be 1.5 to 2 years. Now a lifespan of a Magic player feels like a couple of months. So Wizards has to get as much money as they can out of everybody. Either the Johnny-come-latelys that are going to be gone in 4 seconds, or the whales who are sticking around, they need to be milked of as much money as possible. Wizards looks at their player base and goes, these guys are 30 years and older. Like, our player base is aging away. Hasbro is scrambling on every level and needs all that money. So this panic selling is an absolute nightmare. Anyways, that covers the news I'm here to discuss. Like I said, I'm going to do a rant stream tonight talking about Modern Horizons 3 prices, the Commander decks, all that insanity, and that will happen over on my Hatcher YouTube channel. I will have on the archive the stream listed afterwards, and since I'm mentioning that, if you want to hear about the Portuguese and Chinese language situation, link on the screen to head over there and check that out. Thanks for coming by. Big thank you to all my patrons, and I will see you all, my friends, for the next video or tonight's stream.